Hello, everybody. This is Sasha from the Sexpert Talks, and today I'm so happy to introduce you to Mari de Luna. She's a trauma-informed women's empowerment coach. And welcome, Mari. It's so nice to have you here.
Hi, Sasha. It's a pleasure to be here, actually. Thank you.
I'm so happy. And we're going to talk about something that is so important for so many women out there, which is libido, desire. How at some point we might feel that that boat is gone. We no longer have desire. We no longer have the same fire that we used to have. So I'm curious. Why do you think that happens? What happens when a woman starts losing her libido?
Yeah. Thank you for the question. And yes, I wish it was a simple answer. And while it's basic,
Uh-huh.
the answer it may not be easy. So it's a multifactorial approach when it comes to low libido. So we think immediately, oh, okay, so it's either I'm getting older or the partner that I'm with is not, turning me on, or we get told from our conversations with our mothers, basically, or our girlfriends, that it happens, that it's normal for women to decline and their desire for sexual encounters with their partners, et cetera, et cetera. And most of these things are, they're not true. They're not true. It doesn't mean that because we're aging that it is normal for us to not feel the desire. And like I said, it's a multifactorial approach when it comes to boosting the libido. And we have to think about our nutrition, our lifestyle, our relationship to everything else. Like we would think, oh, it has to do with the spark that I feel or the attraction that I feel for my partner or the way my partner treats me. And it's basically it's the relationship that you have to yourself and the way you see yourself, the way you treat yourself, the way you think about yourself. That is more important than the interactions you have with your partner. Obviously, that is important, but it takes precedence the way we view ourselves. So yeah, I like to break it into comes to nutrition, lifestyle, and our own relationship to ourselves.
Yeah, that's so important, and I am so glad that you mentioned that. I love that you approach the nutritional side of it. I know that that's one of your specialties. You work a lot with nutrition, and also how it is complicated. It's not like just one side. And something that you mentioned that resonates so much to me. I'm so sorry. I want to apologize for the dog barking in the back. It's out of my control. The important part is we women are being taught by the media, by our parents, by the women that are from previous generations, that it's something we just have to get used to, right? That we just have to take that for a fact, that it's just going to happen. And challenging that, it's totally revolutionary. It's kind of reframing how libido works. So if you could, here there are so many approaches we can have to about this conversation. So I would like to, sorry, I have to laugh about the dog in the background. So I am curious about all of these factors. What would you think is most important for people to consider when they are feeling that if you want them to have a better idea of how libido works, what is like the message that you wish they had, the new and revolutionary approach you wish they had?
Yeah, what I would like to tell everybody, and I'm sure people are not going to appreciate this, but it's the truth, is that it's not a quick fix or there's no magic pill out there. I've seen on Facebook and Instagram a few ads about, oh, take this pill and you'll see an increase in your leaks. And I am going here, I'm like, oh my God, this is our mentality nowadays, to go for the quick fix. And I would love to tell everybody that this is an opportunity for us to really get back in touch with ourselves. To this low libido, it's pretty much, the way I see it, is another sign from the body asking for attention, asking for an invitation to come back home in our bodies, and to get to know ourselves better. So that is what I will, the message that I would like to tell people, those women out there that are going through through changes in life, and so it's not to cause despair, but it's just an invitation for to get to know exactly what works for us, to befriend our bodies, to treat our bodies as the temples that that we are, and just get curious and have patience. And there is so much gold in the journey of discovering ourselves, and getting back in touch with our bodies. So again, low libido is just another sign is to
Yeah, yeah, I love that. It's so important just to get this opportunity to get back in touch with our bodies, to
yeah,
create a new connection with our bodies.
yeah,
That I just want that to settle in, because that there's so much wisdom in that. Like taking
mm-hmm.
this opportunity to go back into getting in touch with our body. How
Yeah,
can women do that? Because
yeah,
I know that for us, that is our language. We speak about this so often, like listening to your body, listening to your pussy, getting in touch with her. But people that has never ever done that, what's the first steps that they can take in order to create this new relationship to their body?
yeah. So I like to tell the women that work with me, and the easiest way that I learned to get in touch with my own body was to be curious, to think about kids, little kids, and how whenever they see something, or they approach something, it's the curiosity. It's like that awe, right? Like, oh, there's nothing bad or good. It's just like an opportunity to get really curious. How does this work? And so that's what I tell women that work with me, and it's that coming from that curious place without judgment. And so when we look at ourselves and we look at our bodies, and we tend to think, oh, I don't look this way, or oh, I don't feel this way, or we tend to find the ways that our bodies are not working. And so I feel that we're placing judgment there, rather than, this is happening, this is my current situation where I'm not feeling desire for engaging sex, or even to have solo sessions where I'm talking about masturbation. And so it is that time to get curious, and it's just what's happening here. And one of the most beautiful lines of work that I've done to engage with self body acceptance and self love is mirror work. And I know so many people that shy away from it. I was one of them, because it's so pervasive, or women to want to compare to other women, and want to compare us the way we looked before children, or when we were in our teenage years. And so doing this type of work is getting present with who we are and how we look now, and just like cultivating that relationship with ourselves, and treating us the way we would treat our best friends, the way we would treat our daughters. And so that's how I think I found that mirror work to be so rewarding. um it's just like sitting in front of the mirror and finding the beautiful parts that we may not want to look at every day, but also finding the appreciation and finding the beauty there. And that comes with time. It's a practice. It may not happen the first time you do the mirror work, but when you come with that appreciation, intention, and when you come with curiosity and with patience, it pays off. It really, really pays off. So that is a way to engage into, to change in the way we think about ourselves and approaching the work with, the intention of rediscovering ourselves, to get in touch with our inner beings. And obviously there are these other factors where nutrition comes in in the picture, as well as lifestyle.
I love that.
Yeah.
Oh my God, there's so much in here. It's so the first step is this curiosity,
Mhm.
engaging in this self-curiosity. I love that you speak about talking to your body and looking at your body the way you would to your best friend or your daughter. It's like we wouldn't be telling our daughters, oh my God, you're so fat, your tights are so fat, oh my God, look at those wrinkles, or look at that belly. We would speak in a loving, gentle way. So I love your invitation to do that to ourselves.
Mm.
That just gives me such a warm, loving feeling, because that's a practice that we all need in our lives. And the
Yes.
mirror practice. I love that you're sharing that with us. Like, what would happen if we combine these elements of curiosity, compassion,
Mm.
and love in our communication? And imagine that it's your daughter, and then using that in front of the mirror with nutrition and lifestyle. So here it's like the formula for the fountain of youth. It's like that's the real fountain of life. Finding that relationship. It sounds so much like seducing yourself, like falling in
Mm.
love back with yourself.
Yeah. Yes, I love that reframe that you just gave. And when it comes to rebuilding that relationship to yourself, it can be I don't know, it can be difficult to navigate, because sometimes we just live life without, especially us mothers, we tend to put ourselves last. So there is a point where maybe we're not, our roles are as mothers or as women in society change, and then we're left with ourselves. And then we question, who are we in deep down, especially as maybe your children are growing up and they become more independent. You're not so needed, or again, your role is changing as a mother or as a woman in society. And so I myself, I'm going through that. I've been going through this period for maybe, I don't know, 5 years already. And so I've had a chance to really dive deep into the journey of reconnecting to my essence, my core essence. And I'm proud to say that I'm in a total love affair with myself, because I went from not really liking myself at all to loving myself. And it's a practice. I continue to discover things, to integrate things into that. And so this is how you would treat another relationship, to say to your romantic partner. You don't stop the journey of knowing each other, of growing each other. So in a sense, you're parenting yourself again. um yeah, and in all these ways, how it influence low libido is, like how many of us have been in a sexual encounter and really not feel ourselves, feel so like outside of the room. You feel almost like you're just there as just to provide something for your partner. You feel like there's an obligation. Maybe it is your boyfriend for, you know, for a long time, or your girlfriend. It may be that you feel that this is what happens on Friday nights, and there you are. And so, you know, the invitation is that the more you get in touch with who you are as a woman, right, or as a person who identifies as female, then that how much pleasure and how much of life are you getting back to you. And you know, when we think about other ways to boost the libido, I know the jade egg, and you're an expert on this, but I adore the jade egg. That tool for me was very, very incredible, very transformational. And although there's no scientific data that can back up the research, for you listeners, you don't have to take our word. You can see for yourself. You can try it out, and the thing that you can lose or risk is increasing your libido and improving so many different hormonal issues that I'd had for some time. I had thyroid issues. You know, I'm in my early 40s, so perimenopausal, and I can, you know, it's my own experience that from using the jade egg, my libido has increased. You know, the wetness of the vagina increases, and the sexual desire increases. So many other hormonal issues tend to balance out. Again, this is a practice, so, and it's so much more enjoyable to do. It's a very, as a woman.
Yes, so there with you, absolutely there with you. That's something that the jade egg totally gives you, this sense of juiciness, feeling again sexy, because it's a practice that it's so like seducing yourself, like playing with yourself, but it's not just like going for an orgasm and touching yourself quickly to get off. It's more about cultivation. It's a cultivation of energy, cultivation of pleasure, cultivation of this life force that we have been used to drain. I love that you mentioned that we as women, and mainly as mothers, are used to just give away and to give ourselves the last of the to put our needs last. So this is a process that reframes our pleasure and the cultivation of energy in a way in which we put ourselves and our pleasure first. And in doing that, we rejuvenate ourselves.
Yes. Another thing to mention with the jade egg that I just thought was really effective, you know, besides the, you know, the sensitivity gets very quickly. And I mean, there's just so many benefits. I really don't have all the benefits right now in my head, but I don't know if you want to like pause that in there, because
yeah, so I had to pause to put my earphones on. So yeah, absolutely. I think that the practice of the jade egg is maybe one of the most underrated practices for menopause, because it helps us get more tissue, more blood flowing all the way to our vaginal canal. And that brings us more aliveness, sensitivity, pleasure, and more of a feeling of this orgasmic capacity enhanced. So that's just not to mention the health part, because we can learn how to move that energy through our body, through all of our bodies. So that's totally a very powerful practice, and I am so happy that you mentioned that. So we're speaking about nutrition. We're speaking about falling in love with ourselves, about reframing the way in which we speak to ourselves, about mirror work, about jade practice. This has been such a beautiful journey. I wish that all women that were in this stage of life could just listen to it. And I want to invite people to just like look at you. You're a woman in her very early 40s that looks so radiant, so beautiful, so attractive. That you can see the energy of pleasure. That's the thing with this energy. It's visible. You can see that as aliveness. So I really want to invite women to reframe the belief that it's natural to just let go of libido, and to recognize that it's something that just can be cultivated back into existence.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. I tell everybody, that I come across, just take this an opportunity to really look at how we want to live life.
Yeah,
Absolutely. The diets that we tried in our early 20s would work for us today. No, just take it as approach of being individual. We're all very different, we're all very unique, and we're all very perfect. We are perfect the way we are. And also, media tells us, oh, take this pill and then you will feel better. No, take the opportunity to get to know yourself. The pill or pharmaceuticals don't know what you need. You need what you need. You know what you need.
And also the pill thing, it's like the very same phallocentric mentality, right? Like, oh, women work the same way that men do, so we just need to bring more blood to that area and then they will feel aroused. When in reality, female arousal works in a very different way. We need trust, we need safety, we need this space of growth and connection. We don't just feel aroused by looking at a handsome man. We need to feel like there is something that we can feel respect towards, that we can admire, that we can feel like project beautiful attributes on that person. So our libido works in a different way. It's not the same as men's libido. Not to make it less important. It's just it works differently.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Amen to that. Thank you for bringing the safety piece. Again, it is, it is a multifactorial approach. In order for us to be aroused, doesn't mean we have to be horny. I mean, that may work. That might work for you a couple of times, but, especially in a long-term relationship, there are other things that need to come into play. And, safety is one of the things. Sometimes, we think that because we've been with somebody that we may feel safe with them, and that may not be true, that there may be things that we need to look at for ourselves. And so that will also contribute to how aroused you would feel. Yeah.
That's so important. Thank you so much for this beautiful conversation. I just really want to invite people to follow you on Instagram. Your handle is in the description of the video. Because again, it's a way of living. It's a lifestyle. It's reclaiming what is ours instead of just giving up on life. I have always said that we were taught to live like flowers, to get to this space when we are so beautiful and radiant, and then we are picked, Merit picked, and we are put in a vase and we just wither and die eventually. That's what is expected of us. So I want us to reframe that and to instead be trees. Instead, just keep on growing and growing as trees, to keep on flourishing, to keep on reblooming as trees. That's my invitation.
That sounds so beautiful. So, so beautiful and so appropriate for, we're just, spring is around the corner. So I
Yeah.
love the blooming.
Yes. Beautiful. So let's be trees that keep on being
Mm,
young and beautiful forever and ever. The more trees ages, the more they get like wiser and stronger and more powerful.
yes, yes, I love it. I love that metaphor.
Yeah. Thank you so much for this interview.
Thank you, Sasha. My pleasure.